And welcome back to the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate North American Online Open May 2020. Jordan Kent hanging out with my friends Vicky, Kitty, and EE. And EE, during that little break, you were just raving about the quality of matchup we saw, the surprises as well, too, with these different fighter selections. The Byleth versus Bayonetta matchup that we saw in winter semifinals between Seven Justin and Dialga has really been your favorite so far.
Absolutely. I really just, being able to see Bayonetta being put on display. I don't get to see that too often, even with all the Smash Bros. That I do. And it's going to be interesting to see, like, although it is being contested in a 2 or 3 format, you still have an opportunity once you do reach grand finals. You can reset the bracket. The championship has not been decided just yet in this particular open. So there's still a lot of room and a lot of Smash left to play.
And Vicky, up next, we have loser semifinal. We have the Spider 213 taking on 9. And listen, I've got notes as far as what characters they've chosen, but your guess is as good as mine at this point because they're both very capable with the different fighters that they can select here. But as we mentioned, it may be interesting if we see the Spider 213 go with Toon Link, someone that wants to space you out and give you a little bit of room to breathe as they launch projectile to projectile, versus 9 if they do go with Hero, because that kind of plays into Hero's strengths, as you were mentioning.
Yeah, the key word is if they're going to do that, because considering the fact that the beauty of Smash Ultimate, having a plethora of characters to work from, you have the Spider who also was able to use Cloud and Mario throughout earlier on in the bracket yesterday, and now 9 who could also take out a Cloud of his own. So whether we're going to see potentially a Cloud Ditto or the Spider actually try to mix it up and try to figure out what he's going to use versus a match against Hero, maybe we won't see the Toon Link, and instead we may see a rushdown character like Cloud who wants to get into his face and get extra aggressive.
Don't forget, 2 weeks ago, it was some guy in Pichu coming all the way back from loser semifinals to reset the bracket in grand finals and take the championship between regions 7 and 8. So don't sleep on this match right here. And EE, sometimes you've had a little bit of a breather. You can think, recalibrate. And now if you're playing at this point, loser semifinal, you're going to play every single match all the way until the championship. If you can keep winning, that says a lot about trying to build some momentum here.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I think especially if you come out of losers quarters and you're just able to ride it all the way to grand finals. Like I always say, the hot hand is something you really want to have when you come into a tournament. That's why I know some players, they won't necessarily, they'll make it to grands, but they won't necessarily just sit and watch everybody else. They'll be practicing, right? They'll be keeping their hands fresh, their mind sharp, just ready to go, because you understand the fact that, look, I don't want to give myself any cool down period because every game is so crucial at that point.
Well, man, I know that you've always got the hot hand on the court, so I'll keep feeding you the rock as we continue to get going here. And Vicky, we go back to the rushdown characters and the success they've had. We saw Pichu 2 weeks ago, and then here Bayonetta seems to really have risen to the top as far as being the go-to fighter here with Dialga. So with these rushdown characters, how do you play effectively with them? Because it seems like you have to be very precise if you're going to be the one that's going to be the aggressor for most of this match.
Well, you want to keep them by the ledge at all times, and just the fact that you're able to shift that momentum. Oh, wow, we do get the Ditto. All right, I kind of looked into the future here. I play for keeps, already starting it off with a strong, some friendly, competition, but with the double Cloud, you got to start it up with the double side B here, and this is what I was expecting to see. I wasn't going to think that, the Spider was going to stick with the Toon Link in the potential chance where we are going to see the Hero, but with 9 recognizing, okay, I can utilize my Cloud pick here now, and we're going to be seeing the Ditto now.
Incoming dad joke. I usually don't like seeing this many clouds in June, but I'll go ahead and take it for this match here. I know. I get one per stream. I get one per stream. All right, EE, let's go ahead and get it back on the rails here. What are we seeing early on between these two? Really back and forth battle.
Well, I'm kind of wondering if each one was kind of anticipating what the other's character was, and that's why you see both of them actually out to Cloud. But in any case, it actually benefits us because Cloud Ditto is, in my opinion, just one of the more exciting matchups that you're going to find in Smash. I mean, just 2 excellent fighters duking it out. Obviously, that new Final Fantasy game just dropped, so you got to imagine, brother, love of Tifa on the line as well.
And Vicky, we saw 9 miss with that side B with limit. The Spider able to punish, get into the advantage state, and keep 9 off the ledge. And already, we've got the 9 trailing the Spider 3-2. And this is where we find that separation, EE, is when you've got that 3-2 stock advantage, you want to build up as much percentage as you possibly can. So when things do get evened up, you get a chance to find some separation. But at this point, it's all about who can kind of recover better between both these clouds. As Vicky, you talked about dittos. We see the trade right there, Vicky.
I mean, he saw the window of opportunity. The Spider was already at a high percent, so he saw that was a way better situation for him than for 9. And utilizing the double up B when you click it twice, being able to spike your opponent, really put him now at the stock advantage versus 9.
And EE, to quote the made-up word strategery, we really saw that right there. If you're triple digits and you've got a 1 stock advantage, why not go ahead and do the trade off the ledge?
That's kind of what I was thinking. I was like, you're either going to see him just immediately want to get off this limit with some pressure because of how high his percentage is. But in that case, it's just like, oh, I can get the stock too. Oh, I'll take that every single day of the week, twice on Sunday. No doubt about it. This is a very efficient start for the Spider. He is dominating 9 at the moment.
As you said, the Spider 2-1 stock advantage. Both clouds. Try to keep your eye on the action. And Spider, just like that, Vicky, closes things out.
Yeah, Spider was just dominating where he was able to recognize like just advantage state and now catching the jump with the up smash. That Buster Sword is absolutely huge, but especially in the animation of the up smash. And you have to be careful when you are jumping around Cloud. Even when you're Cloud yourself, you could find yourself at a bit of a disadvantage since you don't really have a lot of hitboxes to try to cover that lower space of yours.
And EE, it happened quickly, but it's worth revisiting. The trade that we saw when it was 3-2 and Spider had the advantage, that to me really seemed to separate things because now you reset, you're 2-1, you're both at 0. That's a really difficult situation to come back from if you're 9.
Yeah, and it's not a very common situation where you do have opportunities like that present itself, but it does go to prove the fact that you want to have that really strong and aggressive start to put yourself in a situation like that where it's just like, oh, okay, I have another opportunity to just go up even further and just put this more out of reach for you. I'm going to take it every time.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see now here, Vicky, if 9 decides to go with the counter pick, because when you have a Ditto match and they outplay you with the character you're going to choose, I don't know how many more adjustments you can make when it wasn't that close of a matchup. You figured this is when you really want to change your play style to make them adjust, but we've seen different things happen here before.
Yeah, and it can also shift the momentum in the Spider's favor since, you know, winning in the Ditto could get you into the minds of your opponent rent-free. And with 9 now not being able to realize that he won in that Cloud Ditto, we may see the hero switch up. But at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if he does stick, because if he does go through the hero switch, that we're going to have a similar situation where he's going to struggle on trying to land on the ground and trying to find his footing, so that way he could get at least some sort of advantage state going.
And also, EE, with these randomly curated stages, as we mentioned, there's 8 stages and they're randomly curated. If you're hero, you're going to want one of those bigger stages because something small isn't going to give you that much time to really go through your menu selection against a Cloud that can be very aggressive in your face.
Yeah, this is the situation where Yoshi's going to be very beneficial, right? You're going to want something like Kalos is obviously going to be more ideal just for the separation that you're going to have. So you kind of, again, you have to roll the dice in several instances here, but it is something that might be worth investing into, knowing this could potentially be your final match of this tournament, considering we're in losers.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a social distancing joke somewhere in there, but I already hit my limit on that jokes, as I said before. The Spider versus Hero, we went ahead and called it, so we're actually knowing what we're talking about sometimes here. You've got 9 going with Hero against the Spider. A little bit of space as well, too, here, Vicky, but early on, it's going to be Hero trying to look for that spell, can't get the right one to come out. The Spider right now trying to chase him along the bottom of those platforms. And both fighters here, Vicky, having somewhat safe approach tools with some disjointed hitbox. It seems like whoever can win neutral, like it always is in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, going to have the advantage in this one.
Absolutely, and he's going to be able to have those platforms to actually expand on that neutral, but now that they're gone out of the picture, he's going to have to be careful and play a little bit more patient, but being able to pull the trigger on that side B with the limit cross slash, you're going to put yourself at a disadvantage while you're stuck in that hit lag. And now 9 having to come back to the stage, trying to figure out how to get back from this disadvantage state. You see him trying to slow it down, trying to play patiently as he doesn't want to get caught in those big aerials that Cloud has.
And right now, Hero just hanging out on the platform, going through a couple of menu selections here, but Cloud quickly coming in, trying to punish. Hero trying to get the recovery. Cloud sitting right there with that down air, but thankfully, for 9, you've got the platform to work with, and you really have to utilize the architecture of this stage here, EE.
Oh, no doubt about it. And I do love Spider's willingness to commit and go out there and just try and challenge Hero, because you have to take any advantage you can against this character. Again, someone so RNG-based, you can have a lead, but it's never really safe, right? Just knowing that any given point, that menu can really betray you, and that can be the downfall of a stock very quickly. However, limit on deck right now, and it looks like he's going to utilize that right into the cross slash. That was a beautiful play.
And Vicky, that was critical right there. You're up 3-2. You get the limit side B to connect, and already you racked up 68% with that one stock advantage. And it's really about Spider making the most of that one stock lead when we get to this 3-2 point here so far in this match.
Yeah, I like the respect coming from both these players too. You can see them both running up towards each other, just trying to hold shield. The Spider, though, he does have that stock advantage despite being at 148. Now taking care of that, though. 9 trying to take care of that stock. Though with the Spider having 0%, he's still at the advantage state, and Spider trying to utilize this up smash to try to catch him off guard, using the fact that he was gonna jump. You saw him take his, oh, but he's under the stage. It's anyone's game here. 9 gonna run away with that. He has bounce at the ready. He knows he can't use that neutral B against him, but evening things out, Jordan, here with the back air, although that SD, quite unfortunate for Spider.
Yeah, what a sequence of events that you just took us through there, Vicky. We've now got 1-1. But as you continue to see how things recalibrate here, EE, you know that with this final stock, your hero, this is where that RNG really needs to come into your favor.
Well, we saw Spider just kind of elect to recalibrate his own stock with that unfortunate, untimely SD, but he still is in a situation where it is possible to get the W here, obviously only trailing by about 30%. But honestly, if I'm 9, this is an opportunity I don't want to let go to waste. I have the stock, or excuse me, I have the percentage lead. You got to go ahead and just try and press this all the way. As you see Spider, he would love to wrap it up. He's just going to force that forward smash. He is eager to go for this and just diving deep to try and confirm that cross slash, but nothing going back on the stage.
Yeah, that side B dug deep off the side of the edge to try and connect with that, able to recover. You see the grab to the up throw. Spider trying to go ahead and chase down 9. Both fighters triple digits. If Spider can get the KO, they will move on to losers finals to take on 7 Justin. But 9 wants to try and reset things here. Hero with the shield. A whip there by the Spider. And will it be enough? It is EE, and the Spider able to recover after a few foul balls to get the KO and the victory. And the Spider will move on to a losers finals. And that's what you like to see, the tenacity. Sometimes you face a little bit of adversity in a match, EE. You got to have that right mindset to overcome that.
Absolutely, man. Couldn't snap back to the ledge. Obviously, you know, unfortunate SD, but he was able to go ahead and just snap back into the gameplay and confirm that forward smash to secure the W. So that's big time play for him. And I like that simply for the fact that it shows even under duress, even after making a critical mistake like that, you're still able to remain focused and pull through. So that was actually a big time win for him that I think is going to actually propel him potentially pretty far and make it very difficult for Justin in this upcoming game.
Let's check out the updated bracket after the loser semifinal action that we just saw there between the 9 and Spider 2-1-3. Spider 2-1-3 moving on 2-0 will now face 7 Justin. Don't forget 7 Justin with that mighty Byleth was the only player to take a game from Dialga. So 7 Justin, even though you're in losers final, you're sitting pretty good with your performance against Dialga. Now the Spider 2-1-3, we saw Cloud come out. Wonder if we'll see a Cloud versus Byleth matchup here, Vicky. And if so, if you're Cloud once again, you've got to continue to have that hot hand, maintain that stage control, but you don't have quite as much range as Byleth on some of those attacks. So that will be interesting to see how Cloud tries to get to within the defenses of Byleth, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's also just a toss-up at this point, trying to predict who 7 Justin's going to play. I mean, he already called it. He says 7 in the name, but not in the character roster under his belt. And currently, 7 Justin, although we saw him take out Byleth, we saw him take out Game & Watch. So at this point, going into this next match and actually being able to see how the Spider was able to kind of come back from the SD, we may see a character selection switch up and maybe not go Byleth and actually opt to go for the Game & Watch. So that way he could showcase the skill for Game & Watch and actually keep his hands warm on that character.
Yeah, and EE, we saw against 7 Justin that Dialga really had some success with Bayonetta being able to get within, as we said, the sort of that bubble that a lot of those Fire Emblem characters want to utilize with their rangy attacks. Once you get within that, you can really apply some pressure on Byleth. We saw Bayo be really unrelenting. If you are the Spider 2-1-3, we know that you can do some work with Cloud, but also Mario has got that tool set for a lot of combos if you can get up close. So you figure, what direction would you like to see them go when you look at all the fighters that they can possibly choose here?
I think it's intimidating to go Cloud first just because you saw how Dialga has performed thus far and how he's been able to handle things. Honestly, I think kind of hero might be the best bet, just to kind of just go off the factor, okay, at least I can surprise him, right? I know this guy plays an extremely tight neutral and stuff like that. At least I can surprise him. And Justin, he's kind of been that guy that you expect to have a multitude of characters at this point, plays them all at a high fundamental level. But it's like, okay, if you're always switching back and forth and I'm always it's just a battle of counter picks right out the gate, it feels like.
Yeah, 7 Justin and the Spider 213, don't forget, faced off in our very first match of the day. So a chance for some retribution for the Spider 213. And don't forget, we saw Chrom come out in that matchup as well, too. And so a lot of times you do want to stick to what works here, Vicky, but you can maybe surprise somebody that first game if you go with a pick that they weren't expecting to try and take that first game. And so it comes back to the classic question, is this a me thing? Is this a you thing? How do you go about this? But it seems like regardless of who you select, stage control and being able to apply that consistent pressure in neutral and get through the defenses of any zoning tools that the other player has been the key to success so far today.
Yeah, unfortunately for the Spider, during that first match that we saw between him and 7 Justin, you saw him consistently trying to go off stage and try to gimp 7 Justin, and it just wasn't really working on his favor. And automatically from the floodgates, we're opening it up with Cloud versus Chrom. So 7 Justin not going to showcase the Mario after learning his lesson within that first round. He's trying to get the comeback here and already with an explosive start, using that up B out of shield a little too aggressively though, because you had 7 Justin holding onto his own shield.
And EE, I love this matchup because none of these fighters, you're going to put stage recovery on your resume. You're probably going to leave that off right here. And already the first stock being claimed by 7 Justin, but it seems like 7 Justin and Chrom, you've got a little bit of a speed advantage over Cloud. And as we mentioned, that's where we're really seeing these up-in-your-face pressure characters excel in this tournament so far.
Absolutely. And it's interesting, you did mention the fact that, recovery, not something that either one of these characters really going to hang their hat on. But in the case of Justin, I mean, he just obliterated the stock so fast right out the gate. You didn't even get an opportunity to hold up B and just hope you could make some sort of comeback in that scenario. You see the cross slash being just whipped out again. You want to go ahead and make sure to get the most out of that 15 seconds with the limit. But in the case of Justin, he's just kind of made it clear from jump. Look, I'm not going to give you any time to breathe. You better throw out what you got when you get that opportunity.
Yeah, 7 Justin utilizing a couple of tilts out of shield, and yet another stock taken in 7 Justin, showing that it wasn't any fluke whatsoever in that first matchup against the Spider 213. Total control in our first game here in Losers Final. And Vicky, this is what we see from Chrom. It's about that middle of the stage dominance where if you try to get inside of Chrom, you've got so much quickness on your attacks with their frame data that you're really going to win a lot of those 50-50s.
Yeah, at least the Spider, though, clipping the jump from 7 Justin, using that dash attack. 7 Justin, though, he was at such a high percent that I don't think it's going to be able to do much of a difference. But you mentioned already the lack of recovery options that Chrom has. This is the opportunity for the Spider to try to bring it back for himself, using the jump already from 7 Justin, opting to go for that low recovery back onto the ledge. Now switching up the situation and sending the Spider in that same disadvantage to clean it up with a 2-stock lead, and 7 Justin taking the first game.
7 Justin really utilizing that edge guarding. EE, what'd you like right there from that final KO?
Oh, I'll tell you what, the Spider, Justin pretty much playing the role of the swatter, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's how that last stock went. Position himself where he's able to get those back airs to continually send them back off stage, and then just throwing caution to the wind, just throw out the forward air. Hey, Cloud, you don't have the recovery, you don't have the skill to make it back right now, and he took full advantage of that. That was just perfect edge guarding on the point of 7 Justin.
Yeah, Chrom really with a really exceptional toolkit other than the recovery. You've got so many different things to take advantage in that neutral state. And as we've seen here before, Vicky, if you're Cloud, you've got to do anything you can to get out of disadvantage, and really wasn't able to do that for the most of this game here. And when you're Chrom, you can just make them pay because you have the quickness to read their recoveries and to read their whiffs throughout the game.
Yeah, it was kind of like a revenge reverse where 7 Justin was like, oh, you're trying to edge guard me, and got behind the Spider and really showed him how it was done. But the character switch up from both of these players, Jordan, I don't think we were expecting this. The Pac-Man has come out in full force from 7 Justin. He did use his character earlier on in the bracket, but not so far in the finals. And with the Spider now switching it over to the Link, first time that we could see him using this since, we saw the Toon Link coming out, and now the big boy Link is on force.
Yeah, the Spider going with the hero time. 7 Justin popping a quarter in the machine, playing a little Pac-Man here. And EE, I love it because now you've got a couple of zoners, one defensive-oriented, one offensive-oriented here.
And it's honestly a little bit of a head scratcher too, you know. Like the link coming out is just a complete surprise. But you know, in this situation where you know so much is on the line, you drop that first game. It is pretty much imperative that you kind of have to throw something, like a little bit of a monkey wrench. However, Pac-Man with all those bonus fruits, he tends to throw something that can be quite effective, but getting himself tossed off of the stage, and that's gonna be the first KO going the way of the Spider.
Yeah, the Spider with that multi-hit up smash from Link, such an effective KO tool that you're going to see, especially with Pac-Man on those platforms up above. And Vicky, Pac-Man, not a character, not a fighter you want to use when you are down. You really play well with the lead, but when you have to make a comeback, that puts Pac-Man in a situation where you don't want to operate as being the primary aggressor.
Yeah, it could be a little tough to try to come from back from a disadvantaged stock state, but being able to use this bell and try to bring it back at least so that way he can try to see an even game here. Not going to get the full, yeah, he gets the forward smash. He wasn't going to go off stage and commit to that and finding the opportunity as the Spider did try to go for a high recovery. 7 Justin landing that forward smash perfectly great.
Scary good smash with the ghost popping out right there, EE, and that's what you really want to see from Pac-Man. You've got a lot of tools at your disposal with your projectile game to keep opponents off the ledge, and then you want to read and react to their recovery options and play that defensive zoning game.
Absolutely. I mean, just right out the gate, you know, you have your combo ability with the Galactus ship. Obviously, you got something like the Key, which has like the strongest knockdown of those bonus fruits that can really secure a stock, and the crazy trajectory that the Bell has as well, which we saw lead to the destruction of that first stock. And now, just like that, I was in the middle of a sentence, okay, but he was ending up finishing. I was trying to finish the sentence, he finished the stock. That's just how fast this man 7 Justice can move when he goes at it.
And 7 Justice doing a terrific job getting back into this game here. The Spider trying to utilize some of those bombs to keep 7 Justin off the map, but 7 Justin recovers on ledge. Oh, unable to punish the whiff on the up smash just outside the reach of 7 Justin. But once again, 7 Justin utilizing that lower ground on those platforms here, Vicky. And that's what Pac-Man, you've got such great mobility throughout the stage that all of your tools are used to dominate stage control.
Right, but with the Spider taking already 51%, and, you know, 7 Justin now utilizing the up Bayonetta shield to try to get the Spider out of his personal space there, opting to drop the shield, now going for the grab. We've been seeing 7 Justin trying to use those grabs, a lot of them unfortunately failing, but the ones that have been landing have allowed him to really take advantage of stage control, and this is the advantage state that he wants to hold. Now committing to that grab is definitely going to get him KO'd, and the up smash connecting from the Spider.
And EE, I like the gentleman's applause on how well you avoid the grab leading into the up smash for the KO, and that's what Spider needs to do right here. You're not out of this at all. You have to be able to read some of those slower options coming out from Pac-Man and make Pac-Man pay, but the forward smash again for the second time in this game, and 7 Justin showing that they have what it takes to get back into grand finals. Doesn't matter what character, what fighter they use, they go ahead and take care of business, EE, and really nice to kind of see a different game here with a couple of zoners, a little bit of a change in the appetite.
Yeah, it's really nice for 7 Justin too, and I can already tell that our graphics department is going to have their hands full grabbing all the characters that they need to put next to this man's placing, because he's guaranteed right now either second or he could make the run of runs and go ahead and reset this bracket. I mean, him versus Dialga, what an appropriate grand finals we have coming up.
And as you mentioned, looking at the bracket here, 7 Justin 2-0ing the Spider 2-1-3, and we have a rematch of the winners final. 7 Justin will have to take 2 matches from Dialga to be the champion. Dialga just 2 games away from being your Region 5, Region 6 champion in the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate North American Online Open, May 2020. Vicky, probably no surprises from Dialga. We're going to see that Bayonetta, but realizing that Bayonetta really needs that movement to apply pressure. And we saw how effective Pac-Man was with 7 Justin. Do we maybe see a Pac-Man pick here to try and put a couple obstacles, a couple hurdles in the way of Bayonetta to try and slow down that charge?
It could vary because Pac-Man does like that space to his advantage. Also depends on the stage too. But, you know, in the point where Bayonetta keeps you up in the air and we have 7 Justin above him, that hydrate is going to become tumbling down and doesn't really stop Dialga in his boots. Now, that is to say, if he is going to be going Pac-Man, he does have the swords to his ability from the other Fire Emblem characters that we saw him use to really clip Bayonetta from trying to overextend. But Chrom, we said it before, struggles on getting back to the stage. A little bit of a lackluster faster recovery. But if you do catch your opponent off guard and you do try to overcommit, you could find yourself getting spiked by the up B recovery of Chrom.
Yeah, and that's one thing I'm thinking about because we saw Chrom, and Chrom played very effectively 4-7 Justice against the Spider 2-1-3 when Spider went with Cloud. Do we see a Chrom versus Bayo, or is there some hesitation because we know how effective Bayo is at getting you off the ledge and building up some of those combos where you really need a strong recovery to get back on the ledge against Bayo?
If you're confident enough that you can go into the game and not get overwhelmed, hold center stage, and just play a tight neutral, I think Chrom would absolutely be beneficial. I mean, we obviously saw how confident he was in the Chrom by the fact that, okay, I'm going to go Pac-Man, and even if I drop this game, I'm going to go back to Chrom and just wrap it up. You know what I'm saying? So with that in mind, I think his most valued character right now might be Chrom. That's who I'd like to see him open up Grand Finals with.
Yeah, we saw Chrom really take a couple of those early KOs, Vicky, against Cloud. But as we mentioned before, the recovery is somewhat suspect, and we've seen, especially on those ledge trapping situations, such really wise reads coming out from Dialga and Bayonetta. And so it seems like you need to take into account what you played and learned against Dialga and Bayonetta last time. Now utilize that in this whole library of fighters that you're capable with.
Right, and at the apex of Chrom's recovery, it could be difficult to try to gimp him. And you saw Dialga a few times linger by the ledge and try to utilize the smash attacks that Bayonetta has between the down smash to spike you down to the great beyond the blast zone, or trying to kind of space away from the ledge and try to get a forward smash going on if you do happen to miss the lip of the stage when you're trying to recover. But let's try to see. We're opening up the game, though, with Game & Watch. And again, 7 Justin's roster of characters has never seemed to disappoint us.
Here we are in Yoshi's Story, EE, and Mr. Game & Watch going against 7 Justin and Bayonetta. This will be, well, 7 Justin using Mr. Game & Watch, excuse me. Dialga sticking with that Bayonetta that's worked so effectively here. And if you're 7 Justin, you have to use some of those tricks at your disposal, but it seems like as long as you carry to the top, Dialga's going to have their way with you all match long.
Yeah, this is deja vu. We already saw this exact matchup take place. I believe it was in winners finals, and it didn't go too well for my man 7 Justin at 9. Like I said, I do believe he earned some freaking fire miles being that high up. However, it looks like he's back for more. But I must say, seeing a little bit more fight, a little bit more tenacity from 7 Justin right out the gate as we begin this grand finals. And that's what you like to see, right? You don't want to see anybody get ran over. You want to see a nice, even bout. And I think we're getting that right out the gate.
Yeah, and Vicky, it seems like with 7 Justin, Mr. Game & Watch, rather than committing to these up close, and there's the lightweight that really haunts 7 Justin, Mr. Game & Watch that we saw last time, but 7 Justin and Mr. Game & Watch, you're kind of poking away at neutral right now. You're not trying to go toe-to-toe on the same platform. You're trying to utilize your lower stature and being underneath Bayonetta to rack up your damage right now.
Yeah, I like what 7 Just has been doing, actually, just trying to take advantage of the fact that Dialga's putting himself up in the air, trying to utilize these side Bs in the air into the witch twist, and because he's doing that, he is getting clipped a lot by the up air, but now 7 Justin getting clipped with the lightweight. You called it, Jordan, and that's unfortunately the end that you find yourself in whenever you do get carried to the top like that as a light character like Game & Watch.
And EE 7 Justin getting carried to the heavens by Dialga right there, up the ladder, and already Dialga, doesn't matter, you've had a chance to sit down and let the hands cool. You know that you continue to play at a very high clip, and 7 Justin already in a very, very difficult situation, down 2-1.
I mean, at this point, Game & Watch may be the appropriate character because he's in this game and he's just watching his chances of victory just slip away. My Lord, have mercy. This was not the selection I was expecting. Maybe Justin having some reservations, some regrets. However, he will get another game, another opportunity to maybe rectify this because at the moment, Dialga is just running laps around him.
Up throw coming out, but the witch time once again slowing things down, and really it's that heel slide afterburner kick that we're seeing from Dialga that just leads to so many combos, Vicky, and if you can't avoid that, you're going to be taken for a ride from Bayonetta and Dialga like we continue to see.
Yeah, and being so close to the blast zone to the side that you saw right there, unfortunately for 7 Justin, he actually jumped into the nair, but in the case that he actually had gone for an up B, it could have actually flipped the situation and sent Dialga in the opposite direction. So that's something that he could utilize his ability against Dialga, who is carrying him so far to the top, where Bayonetta can meet a very similar demise to Game & Watch's recovery.
Yeah, I think at this point, I would love to see the Chrom pick coming from 7 Justin because you haven't had much success with Mr. Game & Watch. I just don't think you have the speed to keep up with Bayonetta at that point. And you've got to find somebody that can get some of those early KOs and put the pressure on Dialga and Bayonetta. But we'll see who 7 Justin goes with. There we go, EE. That's what we're talking about.
Absolutely. Look, it's safe to say 7 Justin was in need of a major comeback. And I think Chrom is definitely the character you want to pull out in this situation. Seen a lot of success thus far. Hopefully it'll be enough to give him a fighting chance against Dialga, who's just been an absolute menace and terrorize this bracket up to this point.
And Vicky, already, Dialga's got 7 Justin right where you want them. Unable to connect on the forward smash after the witch time, but Dialga keeping 7 Justin off the side of the stage. Here comes once again the heel slide afterburner kick into the combo.
And it's all about that faith too, but the faith taking you horizontally like that, Jordan, it's going to be difficult to try to make a comeback with Dialga already with a lead and only taking 29%. It could be difficult to try to make a recovery against a character like Bayo, but that's why you have those, but the spike coming forward. We were speculating if this is what we could potentially see in this matchup, and now switching up the situation, 7 Justin still finds his footing into this game.
Yeah, that up B leading to another quick early KO. That's what Chrom does here, EE, but you have to make sure you stay within the frame of the stage because Dialga can quickly take you for a ride off the side of the ledge.
Oh my goodness, yeah, and he is just escorting him yet again into the blast zone, courtesy of that bullet climax, and perhaps reaching the climax of this tournament. We are down to the final act, the final stock for 7 Justin, just hoping for a miracle right now. It's a good thing it's Sunday, because he's gonna need one.
Dialga, 1 stock away from claiming the title of the Region 5 and 6 champion here in the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate North American Online Open, May 2020. The witch time on the edge, will it be enough? No. Dialga trying to recover, hops off the side of the stage. Both fighters dancing on the left there, Vicky. That was awfully close to concluding things.
It was scary too, because in the case where the spike hitbox had actually landed on Dialga, then we could have seen almost an even game with 7 Justin having just come back from this last stock hit. And talking about heavy hits, 7 Justin being able to utilize how hard of a hitter Chrom is, now being able to air dodge right through 7 Justin here. Dialga struggling to find his footing back onto the stage.
Not over yet, EE, because we've seen 7 Justin make a couple of nice reads and punishes on Dialga to rack up that damage. But 7 Justin, you're hanging by a thread on your final stock here.
He's definitely got to make this play rather sooner than later. I mean, you have Dialga at 127. This is the time to strike, find an opening. That back air will do it and put us on even footing as far as these stock goes. Obviously, percent deficit is a thing, but Chrom, low percent, can really accumulate some quick damage and maybe be the difference maker to see at least a game 3.
Don't drop the confetti yet, 7 Justin. That up throw dropping below the platform, connecting with another hit. And right now, Vicky, it's 7 Justin being patient and reading these whiffs here by Dialga and doing a fine job. But the witch time with the up smash, and that'll do it. Dialga taking care of business. Rode through things 2-0. 7 Justin was the only player to take 1 game from them, but it's Dialga 2-0 in the grand finals to be your champion of Region 5 and 6 for the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate North American Online Open, May 2020. Congratulations to Dialga. They'll take home a download code for the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Fighters Pass Volume 2, the Splatoon 2 game, and the ARMS game in EE. We said coming in, this was the heavy hitter, taking down DT Foe coming in, rode that confidence, and really was in control in every single match that they were in.
Yeah, and by the way, only dropped, I think, 1 game throughout the entirety of this tournament. If that doesn't show you how dominant this young man is, then I don't know what will. And it actually goes to show the strength of all the fighters that we have on the roster for this game, because Bayonetta, again, a character not on anybody's radar for being in the top tier upper echelon, and just came through completely piloted perfectly by Dialga and took the victory with ease at that.
Final look at the bracket. You see Dialga, no issues whatsoever. 2-0 against 9, 2-1 against Justin, dropping their only game on their way to a 2-0 championship against 7 Justin after 7 Justin emerged from the losers final. And Vicky, it was really interesting because we saw every other player other than Dialga go with all these different picks, all these different fighters, but it was Dialga and the consistency of Bayonetta that emerged victorious here today.
That's what you call character specialist authority right here from Dialga, and being able to use a character like Bayonetta, who doesn't really have that high tier privilege that you've usually have seen in the previous iteration of Smash Brothers. You know, Dialga really being able to keep his ground despite their Chrom coming out and readjust around what 7 Justin had up his sleeve.
All right. Well, Vicky, great job here. And for those of you that are checking us out right now, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with regions 3 and 4. That's right. Double the action here in the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate North American Online Open, May 2020. We'll take a quick breather here and be right back with a fresh new bracket.